Our trek back to the ship was long and hard, but I was holding out a small glimmer of hope that Ray and Maddox were alright. A software failure, perhaps? Something innocent? Please? But I'm also one to be realistic. Pragmatic, if you may. Reality can still screw you over no matter how much you hope. I'm just glad that we were on the chopping block. Once we finally stepped over the bulging blister mountain, our hearts sank for what must have been the billionth time. There was absolutely no sign of our ship, but that wasn't even the worst part.
No!
I screamed as I ran down the mountain towards them. Dawkins right behind me. As I got closer, I only retreated into an agonizingly numb silence, quieter than the empty vacuum that ripped Saren from us. Maddox was practically nothing. Torn, ripped, shredded. He was just a splattered, smeary paste. A chunk of his headless torso and some scraps of his spacesuit were the only things that remained somewhat intact. He was melding into the mass around us. Dawkins and I fell to our knees and bawled. I didn't give a shit about being that great leader I claimed to be before. Clearly I wasn't. I was a failure. I was weak. I let my people die. But there wasn't much time to feel both grief and self-loathing, because something snapped me out of it. As much as it kills me, I loved Maddox like a brother. It was more worthy of my attention, and yet deserving of my trepidation. Dawkins saw it first. Ray's limp, half-naked body, her spacesuit in pieces just hanging on by the threads. She was laying on her side, facing us, and her body was making these strange little jolts forward. I didn't want to, but something was making me move towards her, a force that I didn't understand. Only one question was asking itself over and over again in my mind, and I knew the answer before I even knew how. The white, wormy snake creature was thrusting inside of her, over and over again. We didn't even try to peel it off. It wouldn't give anyway. Dawkins and I just stood over her, watching. No, we weren't to bring any weapons on this mission. It wasn't my call. My superiors were ultra convinced this place was inhospitable, and no intelligent life could ever survive here. So what would be the point of weapons? Of course I believed them at first. How couldn't I? I mean, look at this place. I still wished I had a weapon, though. Not for the creature, but for me. Eventually, Ray was dragged underground by 10 of those creatures. They rose up out of the ground of guts and swallowed her back in. We peered underneath, where it was transparent. Ray was covered in them head to toe. Dawkins and I just watched without any shred of emotion. Maybe it was from shock. A few hours passed and Ray's body was completely dissolved, now a part of this world. We were sitting upon a living hellscape that would not cease, that had no limits. I could never quite clear the fuzziness that was beginning to take me over. The amount of time that passed from witnessing Ray's death to Dawkins slamming his fists into his visor to break the glass and suffocate himself was totally lost on me. I couldn't even really focus on that. What was really consuming me was the logistics of all this. This whole thing emerged from out of nowhere, quite literally. How did it have liquids on it? There was no tangible atmosphere to speak of. It should have been dry and barren, not alive. Why was the planet pulsating? How in the ever-living fuck was there life? Intelligent life? Why were they breeding with specifically females? How did they even know to do that? All those questions, and yet I was hungry, and I was thirsty. It felt like I was being eaten from the inside out. My spacesuit's temperature was dropping. I was unable to remember a time where I wasn't shivering. I wanted death to come naturally. I didn't have as much courage as Dawkins. My patience was wearing thin. I made a little song called the Die Song. Here's how it went. Die. You just keep saying that. Over and over. That's how you sing the die song. Pick your melody. As I lay malnourished and dehydrated, having dazed dreams of delicious fruit, refreshing drinks, and missing my crew, body feeling off, one of the creatures leaned over me. At first it was just a blur, yet it gradually came more and more into focus. I was too delirious to react with what should have been fear. Instead, I just muttered,
What do you want?
Initially, there was no response. It just stared at me with those long obsidian circles for eyes. Then I heard a voice. A warbly, robotic voice.
Rise.
I didn't obey, just letting out a...
What?
Rise.
The creature repeated. It started to nudge at me with its head. Slowly and very groggily, I got to my feet. Once I regained my balance and my head stopped spinning, I looked around. Trillions of them. There was not a single inch of ground where these creatures weren't. As far as I could see, it was just white. They were silent and all staring directly at me. The creature that woke me up slithered to where I could see. Its body extended higher and higher until it reached my eye level. I noticed an electronic device wrapped around its neck.
What are you?
I asked with a clumsy, shakily voice. I felt a tingle rush up my spine and expel out my arms.
Men.
Men? I was confused and not exactly processing things right at the moment. What the hell did it mean, men?
Men? What? What do you...
We are men.
The creature interrupted.
You are men.
That's right, of course I am.
Was I dreaming? Hallucinations? Delusions? Had to be. But the realist in me took over, and no amount of slaps to my own face or shaking my head to clear the fog would make this whole situation even a little fake.
How did you get here? Where do you come from?
Men evolve. Earth die.
Earth? That planet hasn't been around for easily a good 2 or 3 eons. Humans are a spacefaring race. The only spacefaring race, in fact. Of course, we started on Earth, but we had to move after constant neglect and mismanagement. These creatures cannot be from Earth. There was no way.
Were you humans?
My stomach hurt.
In another life, we create Utera. She is beautiful goddess. Women, we cross over. New universe from great catastrophe.
Slowly, I managed to put 2 and 2 together. How is this even possible? The absurdity of it all was really getting to me. I felt my mind wanting to burst. A part of me felt like they were lying, but that was just wishful thinking. Of course they weren't lying. This was fact, real life. I was sweating profusely.
Okay.
That's all I could say in response. I couldn't catch my breath anymore. It was gone.
I don't want any trouble.
Prove you are men.
My heart skipped a beat.
What?
Prove you are men.
My vision was getting cloudy.
How? What does that even mean?
I shouted in utter confusion, but also in dread of what that command could possibly entail. The creature turned its attention towards the ground, towards Utera. I cringed as its 3 prongs began to extend out from it. All around me, the trillions followed suit. At once, every single wormy white creature flopped onto the ground. They thrusted into Utera's surface. It was a swarm of stingers. Trillions of prongs were poking into what was a wickedly concocted amalgamation of female substance and entity.
Join. You survive. We ensure. Process is underway. You have not noticed
Oh my god. What the fuck did they do to me? I knew exactly what they wanted me to do, but no, I couldn't. The thought sickened me, and yet I had nothing left to vomit. Something was happening to me. Something was happening to my everything. My hands shaking and trembling violently, I undid my spacesuit. My nervousness about doing so quickly subsided as I was able to breathe without it. Tossing it to the side as well as my equipment, I pulled my shirt and trousers down until I was naked. Utera felt warm now, not frigid. I looked at myself, my olive skin slowly turning a pristine porcelain white. Catching a glimpse of myself in my helmet's visor, my eyes were pure black. All my hair was gone, and my face had begun to jut outwards. There was a strange mix of feelings coursing over me. I couldn't shake it. Lust. So much lust. Ardor. Desire. Amore. Lechery. All of that was me. Taking a big, deep breath, I placed my receding stub hands onto Utera, and I plunged myself into her. It was wet and slick. It felt amazing, like what I imagined pure bliss to be. My eyes, now long ovally voids, rolled up into my misshapen jelly skull as pleasure took over me. Every single fiber of my being throbbed with ecstasy. Every cell inside me jittered with sheer, unadulterated euphoria. My jaw broke, my teeth fell out, my ears slid off, my arms became attached to my sides, my genitals rearranged, but I didn't care. My new wormy face crinkled and jolted into little spasms, twitching with delight. I wanted to drown in this feminine rhapsody forever, and that I did, and have been doing for an infinite time now. We descended into Utera together, and now we let it permeate and pervade our entire beings. I've never been so pure and sensual. I'm just falling deeper and deeper. There seems to be no end, no bottom that I'm going to smack hard against. I'll just reemerge out the other side, then begin my journey all over again. My feelings, my urges, all of it infesting and ruling and dominating. They hurt so bad.